Hello and welcome to Granada Reports Live with the latest across the Northwest.
Hello, on the programme this evening.
33 hours in a hospital corridor, how one 92-year-old woman wished for death as our hospitals buckle under the winter pressure.
Just a row of dozens of mainly very sick elderly people, a lot of them crying, a lot of them thinking they're on the way out, a lot of them just presuming because of the way they feel and the way they're being parked that they're there to die.
Train drivers walk out, bringing services to a halt once again as businesses count the rising costs of the strikes.
Accused of faking it, just some of the abuse disabled people are often subjected to. We're with the group challenging negative attitudes towards disability.
The World Darts Trophy, the Super League Trophy and a dream coming true. Find out what this is all about later in the programme.
And briefly, a quieter spell today before very wet and windy weather sweeps in over the next couple of hours. The details are coming up.
Yeah, all of that's still to come. But first tonight, to the grandmother from Liverpool who told her family she wanted to die as she waited on a hospital corridor for 33 hours before being seen.
92-year-old Vera Murphy was taken to Aintree Hospital on New Year's Eve after she started to feel unwell.
Vera's story once again exposes the daily reality of the pressure facing a health service frontline staff say is on the verge of collapse and putting patients at risk.
Well, since we posted some of our interview with Vera's grandson on our website, many of you have got in touch to share your recent experiences of the health service. We'll read out some of your thoughts in a moment.
But first, Anna Yosef has tonight's top story.
Vera Murphy begged her family to let her die as she was left on a trolley in a hospital corridor for 33 hours. The 92-year-old grandmother fell ill on New Year's Eve, but it wasn't until the 2nd of January that she was eventually placed on a ward at Aintree University Hospital. Her family say many others suffered a similar ordeal.
Just a row of dozens of mainly very sick elderly people, a lot of them crying, a lot of them thinking they're on the way out, a lot of them just presuming because of the way they feel and the way they're being parked that they're there to die, and numerous people saying that they wanted to die. I know for certain that there were people who were just left to soil themselves, and when you consider people just being left in them conditions, that's people's grandmothers, that's people's mothers. It just seems wrong to me.
Vera became dehydrated and delirious.
You must have felt so helpless seeing your gran in that condition.
Yeah, completely. She starts praying to the Virgin Mary that she wants to be taken now. She doesn't want to put, dear God, I don't want to go through this, because she thinks that that's it. That's all she's going to be going through. And she's saying she wanted to die. Which for me to hear was just awful, isn't it? You know what I mean? My mum said to me, you wouldn't treat a dog the way your nan's being treated tonight. And that really stuck with me.
But the family don't blame NHS staff or the trust for what happened to their loved one.
The staff were brilliant. When you consider the pressures they're under, that there's not enough of them. They haven't got the facilities to do everything they need to do. And they're having to make decisions sometimes at their own discretion, you know, and that must be incredibly difficult when everyone's pulling you in different directions. We had nothing but sympathy for the NHS staff that helped us.
In a statement, the hospital said, like many emergency departments across the country, we continue to face an unprecedented demand on our services. Our staff are working incredibly hard to provide safe care for patients in what are extremely challenging circumstances. More than a dozen NHS trusts and ambulance services declared critical incidents over Christmas. And the Royal College of Emergency Medicine says an estimated 300 to 500 people a week are dying due to delays in emergency care. Vera's recovering from flu in hospital. Her family say it's a miracle she's still with them. Anna Yosef, ITV News.
Right, well, lots of you have been getting in touch to tell us about your experiences. It seems this is sadly becoming fairly common. Steve Melville says, my mother-in-law waited 26 hours in A&E before Christmas. Paramedics are distraught with the situation.
Yeah, this one from Francesca Dean. She told us she spent 36 hours in A&E on a trolley. However, the care she eventually got was phenomenal.
And Sue Wright says it baffles me why they don't bring the Nightingale hospitals back to ease the pressure.
Victoria told us her 91-year-old dad spent 29 hours on a corridor in A&E.
Well, thank you to everyone for getting in touch with their experiences. Please do keep your messages coming in.
Well, next tonight, and the railways in the northwest almost came to a complete standstill today with yet more strike action.
It's as train drivers from the ASLEF union walked out in the long-running disputes over pay.
Today, all services were cancelled apart from a small number on Merseyrail and Transport for Wales.
Well, tonight we're live in Chester and at Westminster, where the pressure grows on politicians to bring the strikes to an end.
Let's cross to Rob Smith. He's at Chester Rail Station for us. Rob, an eerily quiet day across the region's rail network then.
Yeah, so many stations closed, locked up, not a train to be had. This one in Chester, rather unusual, and it's had some of the few services in the whole of the country today. For the drivers' union, this strike is the latest in their dispute, seeking what they describe as an overdue pay rise. For passengers, frustration galore, not able to get where they want to go, or only able to get somewhere a very long way away from where they want to go. And for some businesses, yet another day without workers, without customers, and worrying just how much money's going in the till. No destination, no passengers, no one in the cab. A strike over pay by drivers' union ASLEF forced almost every train to park up. Only Transport for Wales and Merseyrail ran anything, two firms where the unions agreed deals. But their trains reached few places overall across the northwest, scuppering journeys left, right and centre.
For me, it's a disaster because my job is travelling around. I'm a living carer. So it's hell for me. I'm supposed to go to Leeds. There's no train for Leeds. I have to take Manchester Airport. From Manchester Airport, find my way to Leeds.
I can understand if they want more money, but everybody seems to want more money, and there not going to be enough money to pay everybody.
How lucky do you feel you have actually got a train?
Pretty lucky, because I've got to be back for work. So, I'm glad that I could actually find a train to get on.
They're glad for a different reason at a bar in Manchester, glad they're closed for refurbishment. While they're paying staff, they're thankful to be saving on other bills. The owners say rail strikes have directly hit their trade. Right next door to one of the city stations, they fear customers no longer trust trains to bring them in or take them home. They want negotiations to succeed soon.
It's having a massive impact on customer footfall.
You say massive. Put a number on that.
There have been days when it's had over a 20% impact on takings, and when parties are cancelled, they can be in a significant amount of money if we've got a party of 100 people plus in here for food and drinks.
This rail dispute, like the RMTs, stretches back months. ASLEF says a pay rise is overdue and rumours of an offer have so far come to nothing. It insists its members are willing to strike again.
Look, I want to resolve it tomorrow. In real terms, these people do not want to be losing money. We want to get back to doing what we do best, and the sooner the better. But if we have to do a longer shift, we'll do a longer shift.
The train companies say rail revenues are down 20% on pre-pandemic levels. They want reforms to working practices for any deal to go through. Passengers, they insist, are suffering.
This does not keep confidence in people, and they find alternative modes, and this will damage the industry going forward in the future if we don't resolve these disputes and let us get back to providing the service.
Ministers are inviting rail union leaders for talks just as they announce new strike laws designed to ensure, they say, a minimum service and safety level. It won't stop this round of industrial action. The unions say they'll challenge it in court.
Well, let's cross live now to our political correspondent, Leisha McNally in Westminster. And Leisha, as we heard in Rob's piece, the government's making moves to make some strike action illegal.
That's right, and this has been coming down the tracks for some time, but today the government actually announced that they plan to change the law to introduce what they call that minimum service level. And what that means is people working in sectors like the railways, like health and education, will still have the right to vote to go on strike, but not all of them will actually be able to do it. When there's a planned workout, what's called a basic threshold of service will be established, whether that's the number of trains that must run or the amount of staff that must work. And we understand that if unions don't meet that basic threshold, their strike could be deemed illegal, and any members of staff told to work who don't could risk losing their jobs. Now, if that sounds very hard line, it's not the tone the government were hoping to set this week. They rather wanted to use the new year to calm what's become quite a bitter debate, inviting union bosses to come to discuss pay rises for the next financial year in a bid to break the deadlock. But this planned legislation has really angered union members. They describe it as an attack on the right to strike. So for now, at least, this seems to have added fuel to the fire.
So how likely is this to actually happen, Leisha?
Well, the government planned to bring this legislation into Parliament within a few weeks, saying it's the only way to balance the right to strike with protecting lives and livelihoods, but don't expect it to have an easy ride through the Commons. Labour have said they won't support the bill. The Deputy Party leader and Greater Manchester MP Angela Rayner even called it an unworkable and unserious proposal from a dead-end government. And even if it does get through the Commons, it could be blocked by the Lords, it could be challenged in court, so it's not a done deal, and in any case will come too late to affect any of the many walkouts planned for the rest of the month.
OK, Leisha McNally in Westminster, thank you. And next tonight, the family of a couple from the Wirral killed in a mid-air crash between two helicopters in Australia have paid tribute to them. Diane and Ron Hughes, who lived in Neston, died on Monday after the crash on the Gold Coast. Their family have described them as generous and loyal and a fun-loving couple with a zest for life. An investigation into the cause of the crash is underway.
Merseyside police have seized a car that they believe may hold information about the shooting of Ashley Dale in Old Swan in Liverpool in August. The grey Hyundai has been recovered for forensic examination, and officers are keen to speak to anyone who may have seen it on the night of her murder in the Dovecot or Page Moss areas.
Scientists from Manchester University have made a new discovery in the fight against breast cancer. They say targeting a rare protein variant found in human cells may help stop tumours forming and boost the effectiveness of treatment.
Well, next, to the two grieving mothers who are backing a new award in memory of their sons who were both stabbed to death.
£1,000 will be won by 3 young people every year who try to do something to combat the triggers that can lead to knife crime, things like poor education or mental health problems.
It's been run by an independent school in Liverpool who offer help to those excluded or not suited to mainstream classrooms. Anne O'Connor has this report.
5 years ago this month, 17-year-old Brandon Regan was stabbed and left to die in a garden in Speke by older men angered he'd taken a scooter. 6 months later, in July 2018, Danny G. Jameson died from stab wounds. The 16-year-old knifed by another teenager, backed by dozens of boys in a park in Belvale. Brandon and Danny were unarmed when they died. Their killers have been jailed. The victims' mothers are imprisoned in grief.
It's unbearable. It is.
And does time make any difference? Does it
No.
heal?
Never. I'll never get over it. Ever.
It's hard work being a grieving mother, you know. Every single day is exactly the same. When I close my eyes overnight to see Daniel, and then every morning you wake up and it's the same again because you realise he's gone. When your child has been taken the way our kids were taken, it's another level, put it that way. And it's not something that you can just get over.
Both boys had been at Employability Solutions in Garston, an alternative education centre for teenagers excluded from or unsuited to mainstream education. Their murders, within months of each other, are still felt by their teachers.
To go into your class and there's just 2 empty seats, it's horrendous. And obviously, you know, your needs come second because you've got a whole class full of peers who need your support, who are heartbroken, devastated, traumatised. A team who were just literally on their knees. Like, it was some really dark days for us.
This place is offering what it calls a platform for change, a £1,000 prize to young people who do something to counteract the chaos that can lead to crime.
Acknowledging the memory of the boys had to be something that was very much about young people focusing on what's strong, not what's wrong, and giving them access to opportunities and a wraparound support that our organisation can offer that would last a lifetime.
If we are in a position to be able to help these kids, why not? Because what it does is it shows them that there is an actual different path, that you don't have to join a gang, that you don't have to go around stabbing people or carrying a knife because it goes with your North Face now.
For Julie and Mandy, it is a little solace and a remembrance of their sons. Anne O'Connor, ITV News, Liverpool.
Yeah, powerful and emotive stuff. A lot of good work being done out there.
Very much so.
OK, lots to come on the programme, including...
Time to be frank. We'll hear from the Everton boss as the pressure grows at Goodison Park.
And it's National Bird Day today, but hopefully we'll all be tucked up safely in our nests. It's going to be wet and windy over the next few hours. A full forecast is coming up.
Well, next tonight, there are calls for more to be done to challenge harmful and negative attitudes towards disability.
Research given exclusively to ITV News shows that almost a quarter of disabled people in the North West have been accused of faking their disability, with some now avoiding socialising publicly altogether because of their experiences.
Our reporter Zoe Muldoon's been speaking to a group in Wigan about the daily challenges they're facing.
So some people might have a disability or an impairment, some people might not.
These pupils in Wigan are being taught how to be inclusive by people who often don't feel included. The Happy Smiles training team deliver workshops like this, aiming to change perceptions around how disabled people are seen and valued. Inclusion champions Chloe and Victoria say that as wheelchair users, they've experienced negative attitudes from other people.
It makes you feel bad about yourself because obviously you're not putting it on, sort of thing. You know, it's a disability that you've got.
And if somebody is negative to me, I'll sort of just not brush it off. I will sort of think it's not me that you're being negative towards.
Chloe and Victoria aren't alone. Research shared exclusively with ITV News has found that 68% of disabled people in the North West have experienced negative attitudes or behaviour in the past 5 years. 12% said they'd been verbally abused, and 22% said they'd been accused of faking their disability. As a result of their experiences, 26% said they now avoid going out or socialising altogether.
It's rare that someone would publicly abuse me, although it has happened to people in our team, like on nights out. This potentially stops people from ever wanting to go out again.
Hayden is one of Happy Smiles training founding members. He's on a mission to change attitudes.
We have a long way to go, and I still find that people are either overly nice to me or just don't know how to communicate with me.
Zoe has cerebral palsy and uses a frame to walk. She wants people to be more open when talking about disabilities.
I got bullied with the frame, which was really negative. I just wanted to teach more children about more inclusion and just make them more settled and more aware.
We're all human, yeah, round of applause, we're all human.
These sessions help pupils get a better understanding of different types of disability and the confidence to ask questions.
People are all the same because we're all human, but not everybody is the same on the outside. I think it was good and it was inspiring to many people.
We don't just talk about tolerance of this diversity, but celebrating it. So we want children and young people to go away from today's session and celebrate that difference and recognise that yes, people are different and some people might need support to do X, Y and Z, but that doesn't make them any less of a person.
The Happy Smiles team believe that positive attitudes start in the classroom, but that we all have a role to play.
1, 2, 3.
Zoe Muldoon, ITV News, Wigan.
Yeah, great work from them. Here's what's still to come on the ITV News at 6:30 with Mary. Coming up on the programme, Prince Harry accuses his brother, the Prince of Wales, of knocking him to the ground in a leaked extract from his memoir, Spare. The worsening of royal relations is revealed just days before an ITV interview, during which Harry is asked about the broken bond between the brothers.
Wouldn't your brother say to you, Harry, how could you do this to me? After everything we went through, wouldn't that be what he would say?
He'd probably say all sorts of different things.
The government brings forward new laws to try to limit the impact of strikes. Tens of thousands attend the funeral of Pope Benedict XVI in the Vatican. And the impact here in the UK of 2022, the hottest year on record. Well, do join me for those stories and much more at 6:30.
On to sport now, and Frank Lampard wants to get the chequebook out for the January sales, but will he be around long enough to spend the money? Hello, Chris.
Well, that's what Everton fans want to know. Frank Lampard spoke with his bosses yesterday, but not about how long he'll be given to turn things around. Last night, Everton dropped into the relegation zone in a week when they conceded 3 goals in 6 minutes during defeat to Brighton. That's piled the pressure onto the manager, who has not requested reassurances over his job.
I don't need reassurances. Come to work to try and improve a little bit every day. You know, myself, the team, the squad, and everything. So I'm not hunting around for any reassurances. I'm not silly. We need to get results. We want to stay in this league. That's the first thing this year. We've just slipped into the bottom 3. That's not my major concern, and I'm not talking away from that. I'm just saying we win our next league game, we'll be out of the bottom 3, probably. So I don't need reassurances. I don't need these things. I'm a big man who's working for a great club, and I'll keep doing it.
Erling Haaland has been told to keep up his new fiery approach on the pitch. The Manchester City striker showed his more aggressive side against Everton, reacting to a couple of bad challenges. His manager says he likes that passion. City, who face Chelsea in the FA Cup this weekend, must also play them in the Premier League tonight, a chance to close the gap on leaders Arsenal.
They have an average for them. They're going to do 100 or 100, more than 100 points, Arsenal, in the way has done so far. If they continue that way, we will not catch them. So you have to be almost perfect, I would say, here from the fin of the season. Expect that they drop a little bit his performance.
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsors of the Granada Sport Report.
Now we continue the celebrations with the Northwest's first ever PDC World Champion of Darts. After finally lifting the trophy this week, Michael Smith's first wish was to take it to his beloved St Helens Rugby League club and stand it next to their Super League trophy. Today, his wish came true. David Chisnall was there to see it.
Well, when Michael Smith was a boy, he had a dream, and that was to become a darts world champion. And when that became a reality, he had another dream, and that was to parade the trophy here at his beloved St Helens Rugby League club alongside the Super League trophy. And today, that dream also became a reality. We can see the two fantastic, huge trophies here alongside Michael Smith himself. Michael, how good was today? I mean, winning the world title must have been good, but how good was this?
Yeah, to finally come back home with and be world number one in the number one rugby team in the world as well. This is what dreams are made of.
You love St Helens Rugby League Club as well, didn't you? Why is this so important to you?
This is what you know. This when you're a kid, you only watch rugby, you only know rugby, and I wasn't good enough to play rugby, so I had to find something else and to finally master my sport now, which I think I did by becoming world champion. Dreams finally do come true.
And these guys give you so much support. You give them support, but they give you support as well. So how does that work, and how important is that to you?
It's a small community, but it's a big community. We all stick together. We all support our own, and you see it now. It doesn't matter. Even when I didn't win this, when I lost the year before, everyone was still giving me support, congratulate me on the run, and now that I finally got it, it's even sweeter now.
I love that. The smile is not coming off your faces. Well, come on, let's have a quick chat with some of these guys now. Paul Wellens, legend here at the club, also head coach now as well. What did you make of Michael's performance?
Well, first of all, I love watching it. Sat on the end of my seat for most of the night, and it was real nervy. And I was probably a bit more nervous than Michael looked, to be honest. I think he handled the occasion brilliantly, and I've known Michael a long time, and I know it's been a childhood dream of his to go and win the world title. And I think what's even more impressive is that Michael's had some setbacks over the years and had some failures there, but off the back of that grew stronger. And I think you can only see him now going from strength to strength and winning many, many more titles.
Mark, what is it about St Helens and silverware at the moment? You guys are dominating the sporting success.
Yeah, it's been a good few years, and it's just echoing what Willow said. Just watching it the other night, I couldn't believe how good Michael was. It was brilliant to watch. And even had my missus on the edge of her seat as well, which she doesn't usually watch darts, but she couldn't believe how good he was, and he's made St Helens proud, and it's just nice to see him get that trophy.
And Jodie, of course, we can see you here as well from the women's team with the Challenge Cup as well. Just how inspirational are people like Michael when you've got, in the town as well, just the sporting pedigree that you've got?
Yeah, hugely inspirational. And Michael's cousin Paige plays in our women's team, so not only are we supporting him because he's a St Helens lad, but also because he feels like an extended version of our family too. So we all rushed on from training, supported him, and yeah, my family were going absolutely mental. I think we replayed that 9-dart leg about 4 times, so I can only imagine how many times Michael's watched it.
It was extra special, wasn't it? There we go. Well, look, can I just ask Michael, there we go, whose trophy, obviously we can see yours is the biggest, whose is the heaviest?
I think mine's the heaviest, I think.
Looks impressive then. Well, whose is the biggest, whose is the heaviest, doesn't matter. It's what it symbolises, isn't it? And there we go. Look at this. Sporting success in St Helens. It is a trophy town.
Yeah, poor Michael Smith says he wasn't good enough to play rugby league. I say St Helens should let him play. Give him a game.
I think that man should be able to do whatever he wants. He's sparked a whole new passion for darts, especially amongst our newsroom.
Love it,
I think
love
you guys
it.
are going to be down this weekend, aren't you? Wherever it's
I
on.
want to give it a go myself, and actually going to one of those events as well. It's so much fun.
Thanks, Chris.
Here's the weather with Joe.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you. Very good evening to you. Wet and windy weather on the cards for a time overnight tonight. It should clear through, and Friday looks set to be a brighter, drier day with just a smattering of showers. Colder weather as we get into this weekend and unsettled once more. A low pressure system will bring that wet and very windy weather, particularly for western coast overnight tonight. And more rain is due tomorrow night and into the weekend, accompanied by strong winds at times. All very unsettled and seasonal. And as we head through the next few days, something slightly chillier developing. Quite wet out there from the rush hour onwards this evening. Lots of surface water and spray on the roads. But after midnight, the rain will push away, skies will clear. Winds will be very strong along Irish Sea coast for the Isle of Man, touching gale force at times, but these will begin to ease into the early hours of tomorrow as well. Temperature-wise, we're free from frost, 4 or 5 Celsius in sheltered spots before tomorrow. On to tomorrow, the sun is up at 8:27 and it sets at 4:07 tomorrow afternoon. Friday, there's a little ridge of high pressure giving us a much quieter day. Still quite breezy, gusty along the coast, but essentially a dry start to the day with some sunshine, 1 or 2 showers just cropping up here and there through the afternoon. But temperature-wise, again, we're not doing too badly, 9 or 10 Celsius, our top temperature tomorrow. Rain will move in once more through tomorrow night, and Saturday looks very showery, a cool feel to the weekend. Sunday offering drier conditions, Monday unsettled again as we go into the new week. Nights will start to feel just a little bit chillier as well. Enjoy your evening, bye-bye.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Now, seriously, I know I spoke about it yesterday, but I am all over darts. The sport has got a new fan. It is an awesome sport.
I could see you in one of those shirts as well, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
With a pint in my hand?
With a pint in your hand. And if
Throwing
I
the
was
dart
getting
out.
really annoying, I can imagine you'd be chucking them not at the dartboard,
And throwing
but
a dart at me as well. Bye-bye.
terrible.